So I think we are all here. No one has to be excused. Minutes from our last meeting, July 8th, were circulated. QB moves as circulated. Any discussion? All in favor? That is passed. Are there any post-agenda items? Seeing none, can we have an acceptance of an adoption of the agenda, please? Thank you, Ellen. All in favor? That's passed. And then we will move to subdivisions. Take it away.
Thank you. This is subdivision file number 2021-0-006. It is in the southwest of 51814, an area otherwise known as the North Head Gates. The proposal is to create 44 new residential lots and 1 municipal reserve lot. 34 of these lots have existing residential developments, which would mean that there's 10 vacant lots. There is an area redevelopment plan that was adopted in 2019, and the subdivision has been directed by that document. A surveyor sketch has been submitted with the application, which shows the development on the proposed lots. On that sketch, there are some developments that are marked with an X. There is a condition that those, or a recommended condition, pardon me, that those be removed prior to the finalization of the subdivision. Those developments are either unsafe sheds or outhouses. There are some buildings that probably would not meet Alberta Safety Code, or they're encroaching significantly onto neighboring properties. All dwellings will be required to install individual potable water systems and wastewater holding tanks as per the area redevelopment plan. And the current development will be required to submit an application form for an as-built permit before any of the current stop orders will be removed from the title. We have circulated this to adjacent landowners and required referral agencies. The required referral agencies, including TELUS, Ford and Fortis, wanted to make sure that they're that we are registering the right-of-way concurrently with the subdivision, and that is included in the plan of subdivision, the right-of-way. Alberta Transportation did not have any concerns at the time of the land use amendment, and still don't have any concerns at the time of subdivision. There were no concerns voiced by any of the adjacent landowners, and staff is recommending that the subdivision be approved with the conditions that are listed on the resolution.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Right.
It was mentioned at our last meeting about potable water, and I guess I've thought about this a little bit, and is there an opportunity for people to access that once the construction is done?
There is a rural water line. Yeah, Jeff could probably speak better to this. Why don't you just go ahead?
Good morning, everybody, and nice to see everybody in person and be able to have a great conversation here today. Absolutely, there's definitely the possibilities for each of the 44 lots to have access to the rural water distribution system. Currently, the rural water line runs along the north side of Township Road 180. It runs over to the road that currently goes north between the 13 lots at Bantry Bay and the Reddleback development. Pretty much to the north tip of that triangle is the end of the line, and that would be where the flushing hydrant in the end of the line is currently. We have since reclaimed that road that travels north of there that proceeds into the Eastern Irrigation District land. So that has all been fenced off and it has been reclaimed back to grass and swaled appropriately so water drains to the lake. We've had discussions with the EID previously. Obviously, they didn't want to give up rights to that land as it was immediately adjacent to the berm, but there definitely is an opportunity to install infrastructure in that area as well, namely a water line to get it to the north end of the development. Alternatively, there is room on the west side of the development to bring the water line up. So there's plenty of opportunity to get the water there. We had talked at the ARP stage about a number of services and infrastructure that we looked at, including that was potable water to each lot, that was communal collection and treatment or haul away, and at the time of the ARP adoption, that was deemed to push the project out of kind of a financial scope that would make it a reasonable that people would come in and be able to purchase those lots and have the community out there. So is there the ability to get them the water? For sure. We have the current program and pricing. I understand that there were some discussions on a possible future program as well here for people to connect to the system. If we're talking about, making it a condition that they connect, a condition of subdivision, I would recommend against that. And the reason for that would be, that making it a condition of subdivision would mean each of those lots and each of those people would have to come up with the money and the means to get water to those parcels before we could even finalize the subdivision and get this subdivision completed. So I'm not sure. Is there the ability? Yes. I wouldn't recommend making it a condition of the subdivision that they tie onto the water system.
Anything else? Molly?
Just a question in regards to that. So if there are existing water systems out there at the present time that would be saved by some, Jeff, or like I'm just thinking.
The existing water systems out there was a real wide array of things, and as we constructed, we've ran into a lot of them and found where they were going and where they were coming from. Multiple developments and locations out there had cisterns holding tanks that they would truck water in, kind of your typical process before the rural water system came in. There were also places that had lines ran out to the lake, and there were wells and sumps with pumps in them kind of sporadically located throughout the development. As part of construction, we found those. We discussed with the landowner and we removed those because they weren't probably known or even approved by the EID, but there were a few locations that did have year-round water systems out there. Everybody has been given direction that they're pumping out of the lake to provide themselves water for use in their home was going to be disconnected, and we worked with those people. So cisterns will have to be installed as a mean of holding and filling tanks with potable water, or alternatively, like I say, once this subdivides and if there is some type of future program for the rural water project, we could definitely consider taking that to there. But people having the tanks and the mediums for storage up front will definitely help that along.
So is it safe to say, although we're getting somewhere with this work, that there's still a lot ahead of us?
I would say from an administrative standpoint, yeah, there is a lot ahead of us. I think a lot of the heavy lifting is done. The construction is nearing completion. I mean, they're working on fencing and seating, and they're doing the electrical cutover. All Fortis poles have been installed out there now. So over the next week, they'll have all the houses cut over and they'll salvage the existing poles. Once that's done, Brooks Asphalt has a little bit of work to tidy up where there were some poles in the road and such. But that will be it. You know, now on the back end, we are stuck with 44 lots that have these stop orders on for these life safety issues. So that will be kind of the administrative work in the background going forward. And it will take some time to get through. There's no doubt about it. We do know that we're going to require each of these 44 lots to have a PSDS installer out there, and this is the main one, to get into their tank, inspect their tank, and if it is an acceptable pump out tank, to sign off on that and give us some assurances that it has been inspected by a certified installer. Alternatively, if they can't do that, or their tank doesn't meet the PSDS installer's expectations, or they don't have a tank, they'll have to pull a PSDS permit and come in and install a new pump out tank out there. Now, the administrative part in the back end is what Maria mentioned, is the issuance of all these as-built permits, and we've discussed this before as well. Once this is all done, we've got all the structures and we get everything removed. We want people to come in and we will issue them an as-built permit. So we have a snapshot in time that we know exactly what the development looks like out there at this time. And we'll be able to track if there's any, contraventions in development or anything that wasn't permitted going forward. The other nice thing about this is there are people out there that are very excited to continue and develop and build a shed or build a cabin and everything else. But the one thing that we do have to hold on to is there's stop orders on all of these parcels right now, or on the one parcel right now, which will be transferred to the 44. And we will not remove those stop orders or issue any permits until those life safety issues with the PSDS have been taken care of. And we have taken care of a few of them as we found them during construction, because they were in the roadway, in the ditches. You know, we ran into some stuff that was well expected to run into out there.
Yeah, I hope going forward that people take that seriously, because permits don't mean that things won't get built. So it'll be an interesting time. Thank you.
Any other questions? Anne-Marie?
I'd like to make the motion. It feels good to do the next step. Good job, guys.
That seemed like a long ways off, not too long ago. Well, good work. So Anne-Marie makes the motion. Any further discussion? All in favor? That is passed. There are no post-agenda items. Don't believe we have anything in camera. Question period. Nothing? Then I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you.